the value K1 equal to 100, K2 is 89, K3 is 98. So they are represented using a order, not an order, it's a key value pair. So you can access some values using D1 of say K2. Or you can traverse the entire dictionary using a for loop for key in the dictionary. And dictionary, the value T1 of K, T1 of T. You will get entire value, or you can beautifully write it as say T, comma T, comma a colon, comma the corresponding value K100, K2 89, K3 98. Okay, this is how you can create a dictionary in Python, and it have many uses when you are counting something, counting some particular classes, class labels. You can say this class have this many elements, this class have this many elements. Like that, you can use dictionary in many applications. Python list dictionary. Then similar to list, we have a concept called tuple. Tuple that say you can check the type of D1 before going to the tuple. Say tuple D1. It is dictionary, and you can, this is dictionary type. Then tuple means it's again a collection of elements. It is like list. Say T is equal to is an empty tuple. Then you can add elements to the tuple like 1, 2, 3, 4. Say L equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. The same elements, but one is a tuple, another one is a list. You can check the types, type of T, comma, type of L. Well, first one is a tuple and second one is a list. So what is the difference? We have a concept called mutable and immutable data structures. Mutable and immutable data structure. Mutable means we can change the elements, change the structure of the data. For example, I can add a new element into the list L, and the L become L, still it is an element, it is at list and it contains one more element. But if I try to add a new element into that collection tuple, it will shows an error. Why? Because tuple object cannot be changed. It cannot have an attribute called append. So this is very important. The tuple is very important because in dictionary case, in dictionary, the key value should be an immutable type. We cannot have a changing dynamic key. All the key value should be unchangeable one, that is immutable one. So if you want to represent key by a set of attributes, say in a database, a particular key is represented by a combination of different attributes. Say the roll number and name. You need to use roll number and name to find a key. So the key will say combination of two attributes. So in that case, you cannot use a list of attribute as a key in dictionary. You have to combine them using a tuple. Another use of tuple is when you are returning a value from a function. We will discuss function next. So return, if the function return multiple values, we can use a tuple and return the tuple as a output of the function. Okay, so you just know tuple is an immutable data type, immutable version of list. Again, it can contain heterogeneous values. Any value can be added. Any valid Python object can be added into a tuple, list, or dictionary, whatever. But the property is that list is mutable, but tuple is immutable. All key values of the dictionary should be immutable. That is a property. Now we can see how we can define a function in Python. Say we need a keyword, we are going to define a function def. Say we are adding two numbers, or we can take average of two numbers, average, say average of a list L. What is average? If you're going to a user defined function, it will be better if we can discuss some of the available functions in Python. Say you can use some, say L is equal to, again, what is L now? What is L now? 1, 2, 3, 5. So you can use a function sum of L, as it will give the sum of function L, and length of L is this one. So if you are writing a function to add two numbers, add a comma b, then you are calculating the number, you can just simply write a single line code, or you can write a multiple line code. C is equal to a plus b, return C. Here, see, again you are writing a block of statement. So the name of the function is defined as def with a def keyword prepended with def keyword, def add of a comma b, then again a colon to start the block, function block, all the statement within the function, and finally the return value. Return is optional, but this function return a value, so this value, and a b are the corresponding values, the arguments. Now we are running the program, the function is created. Next step is you have to invoke that function, call the function add of 2 comma 5. So you will get a value that is 7. C is returned back to here. Then in some case you can the default values will be useful. So if you have a default value of 10 for second argument, so 2 comma 5 will be 7. If you are not specifying this value, you are just calling add of 2, it will I will check it. There is some error. Okay, so this is how you are writing a function in Python. Now let me see one more example how to write a function for average. You can use all the available functions. Say a list of element is here. You have to find the average of that list. So you can just return sum of a divided by length of a, and average of L, AVG of L, that is 5.5. So these are some of the very basics of Python. After discussing this tutorial, you can if you already know Python, it's okay, you no need to go through these steps. As a quick introduction to Python programming. So with this basic and some more practice, surely you can read a code and write some of the simple codes for using Python. So just go through the steps. I will share this document also. I will share some more materials to get basics of Python. This is not enough if you are reading Python first time, but you can easily understand the code. That is the thing. So with basic introduction to Python, let me move to the next thing. We are going to take a session on how to use Python for machine learning algorithm. This is a tutorial. So again, this tutorial is actually prepared in a local machine. So I use Anaconda Python, IPython notebook for creating this document. Later I downloaded as a PDF file. So some of the codes will not work directly in the Colab environment. You have to change some code that I will explain. So we are taking some examples. The idea is like that. We'll take some basic example and how we can run them in Python. Okay, that is the intention of this tutorial. So there are different packages available for my machine learning like applications. The very important thing why Python used extensively in machine learning, because one point is that we have a lot of packages available, useful packages available in Python, like scikit-learn, NumPy, Pandas, TensorFlow, Keras. There are a lot of packages that are available in Python that we can use for coding. So the coding part will be very easy. If you have a concept, you can easily implement them in the algorithm very easily, because scikit-learn contain much of the machine learning package like random forest, SVM, PCA, clustering, k-means, k-nearest neighbor. Whatever packages you are studying in machine learning, that all are available in scikit-learn. So you can take a data set, you can apply the program, whatever package you require, you can apply them on the database. You can make the analysis easily. So this is this make the programming very simple, very effortless, so that you can work on different algorithms, and only we can, because the algorithm works on one data set may not work on the other data set. So you can check which algorithm works perfectly on this data. You can make analysis, you can easily experiment, you can conduct different experiments, you can visualize the result effectively, then you can make a good analysis on the data. So especially from a machine learning, data science, data analysis perspective, Python reduces most of the job that require hard time and effort. So with a decent knowledge in Python, with effective introductory courses, we can easily understand the Python code. After going through much of the many tutorials, we can easily write your own machine learning code. Okay, so in this examples, this will take some of the basic machine learning algorithms like linear regression, polynomial regression, support vector machine, clustering, and PCA based regression. We took 5 examples, 5 different classes of machine learning problem, and with the necessary code to how to write them in Python. I will just go through the code first, then you can try on your own machine. This tutorial is already shared with you, so you can try to run this code on Google Colab as a PDF version, so you can easily copy the code and try in your local machine. And if you find any difficulty in understanding the code, first you try to understand the code, how you are writing a machine learning program. Then if you find any difficulty in understanding, we can discuss. That is how I planned this session. So Python for machine learning, important packages that popularly used among machine learning community are numeric Python, that is NumPy, Pandas, and scikit-learn, and matplotlib. So NumPy is a fundamental package that I use for scientific computing, because most of the machine learning thing include computation. It is metric computation, linear algebra equation solving. So basically, after a higher level, all the thing when we are moving to the deeper levels of machine learning, everything is linear algebra, probability, and calculus. So for solving such problems, such equations, large matrices, we can use a package called NumPy, numerical Python, that contain necessary packages for linear algebraic solving, statistical solving, some metrical related functions. All will be we can use the related functions can be used using NumPy. Then the data is normally represented when it is structured data. This data may be structured or unstructured. Structured means we can get the data as a tabular data, like it have clear definitions. Say if we are taking a personal data like name, roll number, mark 1, mark 2, mark 3, it have a clear table like structure. If the data is structured, we can use a package called pandas to take the data and process the data. It have many functionalities to analyze the data. Like your SQL queries, you can analyze the data. Who are the mean value? What is the mean value? Who are the which are the rows that are above mean value, low, below, low, like that. You can make many operations on that data set using pandas library. We will use pandas in the following examples. Then the scikit-learn package, that sklearn, normally called sklearn, that contain all the necessary packages for all the necessary necessary packages that are required for machine learning, like classification, various algorithm for classification, regression, clustering, and all. And matplotlib is used for visualizing. Visualization is very important. When the complex data is visualized as a chart or scatter plot, we can easily understand how the data is distributed, in which way we can make the classification, or we can represent the clustering result, which are the three different clusters available in the chart. Like that, we can apply visualization using matplotlib algorithm, matplotlib package. So these are the four important packages that we are using for Python based analysis, machine learning environment. So this setup is how you can create an Python machine learning environment using Anaconda in your local machine. You can also, in this example, we are using Google Colab, so this step is not important. But if you wish to write, if you are not with that much internet connectivity, or you need some experiment, you have to do some experiments in your own machine as part of your research or some work. So it is recommended to set up the environment in your own machine. So you can go to Anaconda, you can download the things and install them in your machine. The steps are very simple. You can follow them using this link. And the first example we are taking is linear regression. You know what is linear regression? It's a supervised method. We have given some data. From the data points, you have to predict a function, a regression function. Given a data, you have to find a line that pass through the data point, that clearly distinguish this, that relate these data points. For example, in a simple case, we have a simple linear regression that involve two variables, one dependent variable and an independent variable. Say input variable is normally called independent variable, and this variable, the output depends on this independent variable. So say if the data set may contain some variable like input and output, and the output value depends on this input features. So we need to find a function, say b is equal to mx plus b. How this output, this not b, sorry, y equal to mx plus b, y equal to mx plus b. That is a linear function that gives a regression line. So when y is dependent, where y is a dependent variable and m is the coefficient, we need to find this coefficient, these two coefficients m and b. So how to find this m and b? That is mathematics, regression mathematics. We will go to that step. So for any machine learning project, the normal steps is like this. You have to first import the necessary packages into your program. First import the packages. Then that means you require pandas library, you require scikit-learn, you require many other NumPy, you require some other package, matplotlib. So first import all these packages into your program. Import means like you are including the program in C, like hash include something into your program. You are importing that you are importing in Java also it is importing. So you are importing that package into your program. See here it is import pandas as pd. Pandas is the package, and we are using an alias called pd. So instead of using pandas, we can use pd. After importing, we can use pd dot some function. So in this one, you can get all the help by hovering through the points. If you select that point, you will get pandas pd. That is a powerful data analytic and machine learning library. Like all the details of pandas will be available here, so you can learn them individually. Then you have to load the data. That is first thing. After loading, importing the package, you are working on a data set. So load the data set into your program. So if the data set is available with your local machine, you can easily upload. If you are working on your own local machine, you can easily upload you can easily read the file using this function like pd.read underscore csv. You are reading a CSV file, and your CSV file is available in this location. So the data set we are using is regression.csv, and it is available in some location. So you have to give the corresponding path to access this data. So this data is a data frame. So if you are working on Colab, you have to first load the data into Colab. The data should be available in your Google Drive. So your location is your Google Drive. So first you have to import the data, import your Google Drive. First you have to mount the drive using this command from google.colab import drive. Then you have to mount your Google Drive, G Drive. Then that drive will be mounted to your program. So when you are mounting this code, you will ask for an authorization code. You will get a link like this. While clicking this link, you will get a code. If you are not logged in, it will ask you to log in. After login, you will get a code. That code you need to paste here. If the authentication is successful, the drive will be mounted. So after mounting the drive, you can check whether it is mounted. It's already mounted at this drive. So you can open some files that is available in your drive. Say this is the drive. My drive is here. So I have mounted this one, and all the files related to this tutorials are available in this folder webinar minus -ck. So I am using the path like this /content/drive my drive. This is the location of my drive. Inside my drive, I have a folder webinar minus csk, and inside csk the corresponding files are there. Corresponding CSV file is there. Okay, this is how we are mounting the Google Drive into our program. So all the necessary files will be available in your drive. So you can first upload them into drive. So using that command, after loading this, you are using regression.csv. It is available here, regression.csv. So you are using this file for the function. So you can load the data using this command pd.read underscore csv. So you have loaded the data. So the data is a variable that is actually called data frame. It's a data frame variable. So if you want to know the size of that data frame, you can use data.shape. .shape is a function that will give the shape of the data. That is the size of the data. So the size of data set is 237,4. That means it is a table like structure. It has 237 rows and 4 columns. Which are the columns? You can print the column names. Say list of data. It will give gender, age range, height size, and brain weight. This is actually a data set that represent how these features like gender, age range, and brain size have any relation with brain weight. Okay, so this is this data set contains gender, age range, and head size of some individual and the corresponding brain weight. So we can see the sample data using the command data.head. Data is the data frame variable. .head will print the first n rows. If we are specifying some values here, it will print the corresponding number of rows. If I say 10, it will print the first 10 rows. Similarly, we have tail function that will print the last 10 rows. Okay, so by default, it will take 5 rows. So we will get the first 5 rows. This value gender is a Boolean variable 1 or 2 something. Age range is the value. Then head size is there. Brain weight is there. Okay, so this is how we are printing the first the data set. So the data set will look like this. It has gender value, age range, head size, and brain weight. We can visualize the data. So this is the data distribution. We are working on a simple regression. We are taking only two variables, x and y. X is the size of the head, and y, the target value or the dependent value is brain weight. So based on this value, we can plot them like this using a plot function, plt dot scatter two variables x and y. So we will get the corresponding plotting. Now our objective is to find a line that pass through these points that fit to this line. That means if we draw a line like this, it should fit the this data points, because using that line equation we can predict when we given a head size, we need to predict the corresponding brain size. That is the need of regression. So regression there is some mathematics. We will try to find a line like this, mx plus b. The intention is we have to find the values of m and b. So if we found these values from the data m and b, then we can easily identify, given x, we can find the corresponding value of y. So that involve optimization. We can see how we can run it from the scratch. There are two examples I given in this tutorial. One is how we can implement them from the scratch. I'm not touching that now. We need to find some equation like this, brain weight equal to some m into the head weight plus b. We need to find some values like this. So how we can do them using linear regression using scikit-learn. Okay. So the data we already learned, x1 and y1 are the corresponding values, dependent and independent. We are importing the corresponding package from the linear regression function from scikit-learn function. From scikit-learn dot linear model, import the corresponding function. Then linear regression equal to this value, linear regression of the function. This is an object of linear regression type. Then we are first trying to fit the data set into this function. So we are learning the function using dot fit function linear. So the steps are like this. We load the function, load the data set. If there is any pre-processing required, we are just do the pre-processing. After that, we are going to apply the model. So take the data set, especially the training data set. Then apply the model. We have a model, linear regression. So try to fit that model on the data set. So linear regression dot fit. What are the values? We are using two variables, x1 and y1. So we can simply write the code, linear regression dot fit. We are using logistic regression. We can simply write logistic regression instead of linear regression. So all functions are available in scikit-learn. You can try different combinations. So after fitting, you will get a trained model. So this will be a trained model. The corresponding coefficients can be printed, like the corresponding intercept and the bias value. Okay, so you will get the value result. Now you can try how if you tried it by the scratch, you will also got the same results. You just go through the tutorials. So after getting this value, you can try how much it is fitted. This is the corresponding line that we calculated from the data. And we can check how accurately the regression line is using a root mean square error, square root of this actual value minus the predicted value. Predicted value means the value predicted by our line. So the root mean square error is like this. We can take the corresponding percentage, which is 72%. So the regression that we computed using the data set will give value accuracy of 72%. So just quickly go through the tutorial. First understand what is tutorial, what is regression, what is the requirement of regression. The idea is we have to find a straight line that pass through the all data points. For that, we are taking an example that we are taking two variables x and y. This is a simple regression. The same procedure you can use for multiple regression, no issue. Here x is a X is the data set that contains head size, and Y is the dependent variable is brain size. We first visualize the data. We need to find a line that pass through all the data points, or most possible data points. But for that, we are applying regression. We need to find two variables, m and b. Regression means we are finding a line y is equal to mx plus b. The two parameters to be identified are m and b. So we'll apply linear regression using scikit-learn, the function logistic regression. We will fit the data. We will get a model. We will apply the model and predict the line, and check the accuracy using root mean square value. We got as accuracy of 72%. Clear? So you can go through the code and you can try it yourself. Now we can go for a break.